Today on All Out Brick, we combine two of the marquee 2006 Titans to create Botar. We're going to build the model, review it, and then give out a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. Welcome to another Motunui Monday. As always, the best way to tag along with us every week is to subscribe and turn on notifications. This week, we'll be building Botar, which is a combination Titan model from the 2006 line of Bionicle. Botar was never released as its own set, so to make it, you'll have to be combining pieces from both Axonn and Brutaka. Botar is a part of a savage race that originally came from the southern islands. After being recruited to the Order of Motunui, Botar's primary duty became capturing those who committed acts the Order had deemed unforgivable and banished them to a place called the Pit. He was also known as a courier that transported items and beings to the locations they were needed. This is our first Titan combination model from 2006, and I am pumped to see what the designers rolled out by combining parts from two of my favorite Titan sets so far. Let's do this build. After 50 minutes, we've completed Botar's build. Pretty interesting build. I mean, it does get a little bit repetitive because the arms and the legs are really just mirrors and they get a little bit stale there, but it was still a pretty fun build. A lot going on here. I mean, you can see from this shot, and we're going to give you the close-up, Botar is massive. He is bigger than even I thought he was going to be, and I had pretty high expectations coming in, especially after we got the size with Brutaka. It was like, if we're getting a combination model, I expect this thing to be quite large. Botar genuinely feels like the biggest thing aside from the Ultimate Duma that we've ever built. And even though he's not the biggest model we've ever built, I tell you what, he is certainly my favorite Titan combination model so far. There's a ton of stuff going on within him. Very great construction with all the different pieces. He uses just about all of the pieces available to him, which sometimes can be a struggle for Titan combination models. You know, sometimes we'll see something where it's like, you only use a third of the pieces. Like, what are we doing here? And Botar basically uses all the pieces except for the individual masks for Axonn and Brutaka, and then just a couple like axle pin pieces and maybe like one armor piece. Everything else is used up in Botar's build, and that to me really pushes this model up because you're using everything available to you. The designers didn't shy away from anything and really strive to make the best model that they could. If you know this channel and you know my opinion on Bionicle sets, you'll know that something I really appreciate with Botar is the fact that he's got some really thick arms and legs. A lot of the times we're going to get thicker legs, but then we'll sacrifice on the arms for really simple construction. Botar does a great job of figuring out how to add all of these extra pieces and make these thicker limbs, but without sacrificing a bit of stability. The piston pieces are used beautifully in both the legs, and then it's like these little lat muscles almost on Botar is where they're located, but they add so much stability to the model, and you can pose them all over the place. I mean, the articulation is exceptional here. It is top tier articulation. All of the shoulder and the elbow, wrist joints, all of that's going to move. Of course, you have the leg articulation. The head has a couple different areas of articulation. It's got like the 3 in the neck and head combined. There's a lot of articulation. Then the jaw can open and close, so there's no sacrifice of articulation or stability, but they also add all of these extra thickness to the arms especially, which is just essential for something this big. You can't build something this big and then shy away from giving him arms and legs that suit that size. The color scheme for Botar, as you can see, is got, gold is the overwhelming color. There's also some blue, red, and silver and black punched in there. I feel like the gold is just a little bit too much gold. I think we've talked about it a little bit in other models that have used gold pieces. There's a balance to be made here. You don't want to use too much because in cases like this where I feel like there might be a little bit too much gold, it's tough to see those other colors shining through, and we don't too often get color combinations such as a red and a blue, and it looks really cool. I think that combination of red, blue, silver, and you got some black and gold in there. I just wish it was more balanced and that gold was toned down just a little bit. I know they're only using the parts available to them, so there's a little bit of a restriction there, but if they could have figured out, how to add in a little bit less gold in that upper body torso, I would have been really interested to see how that color combination all worked together. Botar's got a lot going for him, but there's some things I was disappointed with. Number one, the weapon choice here. I think they changed it up a little bit, which is nice, by giving him this small little double-bladed axe that he holds in one hand, and he's got these like wrist-mounted gauntlet-like weapons on both arms, which is pretty cool. I think it fits the vibe that I'm getting from Botar, which aside from looking like a juiced-up Ratchet, he's got this very agile, quick look to him, and I think those kind of weapons suit, what his character is. But it just feels bizarre to me that we have a character this big and a model this big that doesn't have like this big staffed, like menacing weapon. I don't know. I feel like they could have worked something out with those great designed pieces from Axonn and Brutaka. Another thing that bothered me, and I really can't take my eye off of it, unfortunately, with this model, is just the way that they finished the head. Of course, we've got those big ears standing up, and we've got the great articulating mouth with all of those gold teeth, but in the center of it are these orange Toametru eyes and this exposed top of the Toametru head. It just feels a little incomplete to me. I feel like with something this big, you would have liked to see a little bit more of a completed, like, filled in head area with some, better eyes. No offense. It just gives me some Ultimate Dooma vibes, and I don't know. It really does kind of feel like we just slapped that head on top, and it's like we could have maybe stretched that out a little bit more, or given Botar something, or use those earpieces a little differently and create some sort of, eye look, kind of like the Kikanalo had. I feel like, we improved that, and it does give a good boost to the model. The head's just something that I try to ignore to this model. No offense, because it is an important part of it, but I do try to ignore it. Overall, I'm really impressed with what we got with Botar. He's my favorite Titan combination model so far, and I think it's going to be tough to kind of pass this in the future, because not only are we really not going to get a lot of them, spoiler alert, but it's a great model. We have so much going on with the legs and the different articulation methods, and just the detail on the build, and the size, of course, is just massive. He's got this menacing stature to him. There's going to be a tough time beating him. He's really great, and I don't want to say he's above any of those base Titan models, Axonn or Brutaka, because I think I judge those a little bit differently than I judge Titan combination models. But as far as Titan combination models go, it's going to be tough to find a better one than what we've got right here with Botar. In order to give a price for Botar, you really just have to combine the prices from Axonn and Brutaka. So if you're going to go used for both of those, to build Botar, you're going to spend about $200 US right now, which is pretty high. But guess what? It gets way higher if you want to build him with all brand new parts by buying both Axonn and Brutaka, brand new sealed. You're going to pay approximately $600 US. That's correct, $600 US, which is insane. It's not a $600 model. It's really great and all, but no, not $600. And $200 even just feels really expensive because he's bigger than Brutaka. But to be quite honest with you, I feel like Brutaka gives just as much satisfaction, maybe even more so, because I think Brutaka's design is just pinpoint beautiful. And with this, $200, you to buy both sets. I don't know. Is it worth it to break down Axonn and Brutaka to build Botar? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I would rather have one and then the other. In terms of a score, I'm going to give Botar a solid 8-2, which is a really good score for not just a set, but for a Titan combination set. This is definitely the highest ranking one right here. We saw some good ones with like Voparak and the Shadowed one, but Botar just feels like he's on a tier above that, hence the 8 range, and he just doesn't feel like he's, enough to push past like those base Titan set scores. But 8-2, that gives the recommendation in terms of the scale we use that, hey, go out of your way and kind of get this. But it's complicated because it's a Titan combination model. That's why I don't like to give them super high scores, because I wouldn't rather have this than Axonn and Brutaka, but in order to get this, you have to have Axonn and Brutaka. So that's just a personal decision you're going to have to make if you want to build Botar. Maybe you could look up, just buying the parts off of Bricklink for Botar, but like I said before, it uses so many of the parts from Axonn and Brutaka. I'm just not sure how many parts you're saving there. Like, you're literally just going to have to buy them both and then just not need the masks for either, I guess, That's just the way Botar's construction is. So consider that, think, do I want 2 smaller models, but they're not that much smaller than this, especially Brutaka. Do I want 2 of those, or do I want the one big monster Titan combination? Either way, you're going to be loving what you got there. So really just leave it up to you and just build some Bionicles, I guess, right? So 8-2, that's your review. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also, be sure to check us out on our website and on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Until next time, stay bricking.